It was a wild ninth inning at Progressive Field last night with a late Twins rally, followed by a Matt Laporta walk-off to send the fans home happy. It's another festive atmosphere tonight. Former Tribe legend Kenny Lofton was inducted into the Indians Hall of Fame. Fausto Carmona hopes the good vibe continues. He'll square off against former teammate Carl Pavano next on Sports Time, Ohio. Beautiful night in downtown Cleveland. Big crowd expected as the Indians induct Kenny Lofton into the Tribe's Hall of Fame here tonight. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. It's game 2 in this 3-game series between the Tribe and the Minnesota Twins. Indians winning last night, but before tonight's ball game, a special moment. Kenny Lofton, one of the Indians' truly all-time greats, gets his due inducted into the Indians Hall of Fame.
Well, really nice to see when you have teammates like Sandy Alomar here and others. And I'll tell you what, it's good for Kenny Lofton. He certainly deserves it for the years that he spent in Cleveland. And we had him on last night, and he was, I think, very, very excited to be inducted into the Cleveland Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you can tell he's certainly very appreciative of this honor, and great to see the fans turning out to support him here tonight as well. Last night, a wild finish here in the ninth inning between the Indians and the Minnesota Twins. It looked like Jim Thome had hit his 578th career home run. Still a little bit of controversy as to what happened with that ball.
Well, they went into the review room and they came out. They did not have this angle, though. From that angle, it looks like it went over the fence, it ricocheted up, and it came back on the field. And they said, no, it's a double. You stay put. And then Casilla comes back up and gets a base hit. Here comes a throw by Brantley, cut off by Laporta as he scores. That was the go-ahead run. Matt felt that it needed to be cut. And then he comes into the bottom half of the ninth inning, hits his first career walk-off home run, and excitement abounds at home plate for Matt Laporta, the Cleveland Indians, as they stay hot.
You know, because the Twins ended up with the 2-run single, we both thought it made the home run call really a moot point. Twins disagreed afterwards, saying, oh, that changed the whole complexion of the inning. I still don't agree.
No, I don't agree either. It was really a tough call, and it was hard to look at. They couldn't overturn it. They didn't have enough evidence. And, that's what happens. The outcome comes out, and you lose a ball game, so you're going to be bitter about it.
A couple of former teammates squaring off tonight. Carl Pavano was undefeated in the month of July, going 4-0 with a 2.91 ERA. Lost his first start here in August. Fausto Carmona really bounced back after his worst start of the year against the Yankees.
And as a matter of fact, the Indians traded Carl Pavano 1 year ago to the day to the Minnesota Twins. So he will get a start against Carmona. We'll see if the Indians can maintain a little Progressive Field magic.
Tribe trying to make it 6 out of 8 in the win column here tonight. We're back with the play-by-play next. Twins all set for game 2 in this 3-game series. Two teams wearing throwback uniforms. The Indians will be representing the 1945 Negro League champion Cleveland Buckeyes, while Minnesota will be wearing uniforms representing the St. Paul Gophers, which actually existed before the Negro League existed. But they were very instrumental in the desegregation of baseball, dating back to the early 1900s. In fact, this is not the first time the Twins and Indians have played with the Twins wearing these uniforms. They first wore these against the Tribe in a game back in July of 1997 at the old Metrodome.
I don't remember that one.
Great moment before the ball game here tonight, though, as Kenny Lofton becomes the latest member of the Cleveland Indians Baseball Hall of Fame. A well-deserved honor, and it was also nice, Rick, to see many of his contemporaries on hand for the occasion, like Mike Hargrove and Sandy Alomar and Charlie Nagy, and it just so happened that Jim Thomey's standing in the other dugout tonight as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and yeah, look at the smile on his face. Sandy thrilled. Those guys were all teammates. Of course, Andre Thornton there. There's Mr. Dolan presenting him with the trophy. And a nice ride around the ballpark to thank all the fans. And letting the fans thank him for all the good years.
And a great turnout tonight here at Progressive Field. And they were all here early and in their seats to watch the festivities and pay tribute to one of the Indians' all-time greats. Now to the business at hand. Fausto Carmona seeking his 12th win of the year. And let's take a look at the Twins starting lineup that he will face tonight. Denard Span, the leadoff man, is a left-handed batter, followed by Alexi Casilla. And Joe Mauer hitting in the 3-hole, but he's DHing once again tonight. Delman Young bats cleanup, then Jason Kubel and Michael Kadire. Danny Valencia hitting 7th, J.J. Hardy 8th, and Drew Butera, the catcher, will bat 9th.
Today's starting pitcher brought to you by the Indians Team Shop, where they'll get 2 free mezzanine tickets for any game when you spend $50. It'll be Fausto Carmona on the mound, his 23rd start, 11-8 record, coming off a gem in Boston where he went 7 innings, 8 hits, gave up 2 runs, just 1 earned, but he threw 72 strikes out of 104 pitches, and he was pounding that strike zone. Fausto this year 0-1 against the Minnesota Twins. You got to go back to 2007, the last time they won. They take a look at the Taco Bell defense. Brown, Brantley, Chu in the outfield. Nix, Cabrera, Valbuena, Laporta on the infield. Behind the plate will be Chris Jimenez. And when you're making a choice for late night, Taco Bell is a late night place to be.
Well, the umpires tonight, they had their hands full late in the ball game last night. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, calling the balls and strikes. DJ Rayburn at first, Greg Gibson at second, and Scott Berry down at third. So Denard Span steps in, all ready to get us underway here tonight. And Carmona's pitch is low for ball 1.
That looks, those uniforms are just like a shirt, buttoned down.
Well, you got to remember, this is 1909.
You know what they remind me a little bit of is the Chicago White Sox uniforms back in the 70s.
You're right.
When they were wearing
the big
shorts.
collars?
Yeah, the collars, absolutely. The lapels.
The 1-1. Sounded like he broke his bat, and a pop to short where Cabrera will grab it, 1 away. That will bring up Alexi Casilla, who was 2 for 5 last night with a double, and of course he had a big hit in the 9th that tied the game.
Career high 4 RBI for Casilla last night.
And another base hit.
It sounded like another cracked bat as well.
So Casilla with 3 hits already in the series, a 1-out base runner now for Joe Mauer.
Well, he wasn't wasting any time spotting Carmona. He got a fastball and he got after it.
And that'll bring up Joe Mauer, who was 0 for 3 last night, DHing once again. And so with Mauer serving as the DH, that keeps Jim Thomey on the bench. Runner goes. Jimenez throw to second, not in time.
Well, when you look at both these pitchers, they allow a lot of stolen bases. I'm talking about Pavano and Carmona. That is the 24th stolen base against Carmona. Because, see, they're wasting no time. They're going to put their running game in motion. They get an opportunity. That's only their 44th stolen base as a team.
Uniforms aren't exactly aerodynamic, are they? Look like he was running with a sport coat on.
It's a good thing the wind's not blowing in their face.
So Carmona looking into Joe Mauer, who has hit 35 doubles this year.
Mauer last night in 5 plate appearances saw 22 pitches. 14 of them were strikes. Now they pounded the strikes on. Actually, could have been 15.
Well,
you know, on one, but he was 0 for 1 with a runner in scoring position as well.
The 2-0 is sliced out of play. Indians have won 5 of their last 7 coming in. Twins, while they've lost 3 out of their last 5, they've won 10 of their last 13. So they have definitely been on a pretty good run. Ron Gardenhire's club, just a game and a half out of first. 2 games back in the loss column. Front-running Chicago lost in extra innings last night in Baltimore as the Orioles are 4-0 under Buck Showalter, but they are currently in a rain delay as we speak in Baltimore. How about Toronto today? They beat Tampa Bay 17-11. They hit 8 home runs in the ballgame.
Wow. You know that kid's name you were talking about? It was his major league debut today.
The kid who hit the 2 home runs
yeah,
for
the 2
Toronto?
home runs, and he was 4 for 5.
Wow, that's quite a debut.
J.P. Arancibia.
That's the most home runs for the Jays in a game since they hit a franchise record 10 in a game back in 1987. Yankees came back and beat Boston today 5-2. Red Sox had an early 2-0 lead in that one. So the Yankees now a game and a half up in the East over Tampa. Popped him up, foul ground. Jason Nix makes the grab, 2 down. So that'll bring up Delman Young. Twins left fielder, bats .329. 14 home runs, 83 driven in. He's doubled 34 times this year, including 1 in last night's game.
Really a good year and a breakout year for Young with the Twins. You got to keep an eye on how Carmona, in his last start, he was working quickly. And that was the game that Santana got hurt in when he was in Boston. And those two had a really good, chemistry going. They were working quickly, and I can already tell right now that it's a real slow pace for Carmona with Chris Jimenez.
In the air, pretty well struck, but back goes Brantley, and the center fielder makes the catch. 9 straight games the Indians have not allowed a first-inning run, and they'll come to the plate when we come back. and proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. Michael Brantley is Drupal Cabrera and Shin Soo Choo. Shelley Duncan cleaning up and DHing tonight. Then it's Jordan Brown, followed by Matt Laporta and Luis Valbuena. Jason Nix and Chris Jimenez rounded out.
And former Indian who was traded a year ago to the day, Carl Pavano. In his last 5 starts, 4-1. He's been pitching very well, 2.45 ERA. In his last 11 games, 8-1. 13-7 on the year.
I think the mustache really plays well in these throwback uniforms,
You like
too.
that, huh?
Yeah. Michael Brantley takes a strike. 1-1 the count. Brantley 2 for 4, scored 3 runs last night. Over the outside part of the plate. 1-2 the count.
One thing about Pavano, he's going to throw strikes. He's only walked 24 guys in 154, almost 55 innings.
And on the 1-2, a big bouncer to first where Kadire grabs it, goes to the bag, and that's out number 1.
Let's check out the Twins defense. In the outfield, it's Young, Span, and Kubel. On the infield, it's going to be Valencia at third, Hardy at short, Casilla at second, Kadire is at first. Behind the plate again is Butera. Defense is brought to you by Huntington Bank. That Twins defense, only 38 errors on the year. They are rated first in the league.
Up high to Cabrera for ball 1. Pavano is in his 13th major league season. In off the plate there, 3-0. This is a guy who rarely, if ever, walks anybody. 24 walks in 155 innings of work. There's a fly ball to center field. Span back a few strides. 2 down. It's interesting when you look at Pavano this year. His complete games have kind of come in bunches. He had back-to-back complete game efforts against the Phillies and the Mets in interleague play, both of those on the road. And then he also had back-to-back complete game efforts at home against the White Sox and then at Baltimore. Missed inside, 1-1 the count. Bounced it in there, 2-1 the count. Boy, oh boy, this is pretty interesting, Rick. Tommy Bushenik just pulling up on the computer here. That 3-0 count with Cabrera was only the third 3-0 count he's had this year.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Well, that means hitters better be ready to go up there. You know, you talk about his complete games, and he matched up against Burley in Minnesota, and I know the rain was coming in one of those games. He had a complete game win, and that lasted 1 hour and 52 minutes between he and Burley. That's just a few more minutes in that game that we had. What was it, 148 with Carmona and Galarraga.
The 3-2 struck him out looking. So a good first inning of work for Carl Pavano as he sets the side down in order. No score after 1 in Cleveland. Play hard, eat fresh. By Continental Airlines. Work hard, fly right. And by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Second inning here at Progressive Field. Jason Kubel, Michael Kadire, and Danny Valencia will bat for the Twins against Fausto Carmona. Kubel last night was 2 for 4 with a home run. There's a high fly ball deep into right center field. Chu is back. He's at the wall, and it's gone. Jason Kubel with his 15th home run of the year stakes the Twins to a 1-0 lead. His second home run of the series. And both of them have been high, majestic shots.
Yeah, they were towering home runs, boy. And I remember it was a couple of years ago, he had 2 3-run homers off Fausto Carmona, but he gets that one. It was a sinker. It stayed up, though. It was about mid-thigh, and he gave it a ride. That ball had some carry. So Minnesota draws first blood.
And here's Michael Kadire taking a strike.
That is the 11th straight game that an Indians pitcher has given up a homer.
And there's a sinking liner that will drop in center field. And the first two Twins reach here in the second. Sometimes you don't have to hit it well.
No, you don't. But, Fausto's going to have to get that ball down a little bit. They're able to just get to it. That one off the end of the bat. It's a little blooper. Nothing you could do about that. Remember, the Indians pitchers had such a streak when they were here where they hadn't given up a home run for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's 11 straight games now. And 16 home runs in that span. But if they're solo shots, you don't mind.
Two balls, no strikes. Danny Valencia was 1 for 3 last night. I'd be curious to see how those numbers you just gave us correlate with the number of walks Indians pitchers have issued, because it seems like that number is coming down. So maybe they've given up a few more home runs.
Well, that's true. Out of that's 12 solo shots out of the 16. So that could be, very well could be.
High pop on the infield. Second baseman Valbuena calls for it, and that's out number 1. Tonight's achievement of the game is brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in us all. And if you're wondering about the Indians Hall of Fame, there are now 37 members. You have to spend at least 3 seasons with the Tribe and be retired for at least 1 year. J.J. Hardy takes a strike. Hardy was 1 for 4 last night.
Well, one thing I'm looking down, and I don't like seeing already, Carmona leads the league in ground ball double plays. He doesn't have a ground ball out yet.
Well, let's see if maybe he's just, like a lot of pitchers, trying to find it here early in the game. Find that rhythm, that groove. There's a chopper to third, but that's going to go foul.
I'm going to send along some birthday wishes tonight. Happy birthday, Anthony Caniglio. He is out there. Antonio, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Vance and Claretta Underwood of Perry. They're celebrating their 56th anniversary. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And Nancy Lima is turning 80 today. Nancy, happy birthday to you. No relation, is it?
I don't believe so. Down low. Maybe somewhere in the family tree. And also some sad news in the Indians family. Joe Catliotti passed away yesterday. Video Joe was a member of the organization for a number of years.
Oh, yeah. He was back in the, I believe, the 70s. VJ came in.
Our condolences to his family. The 1-2 pitch. Down low. Runner at first with one out. There he goes. And a swing and a miss. Throw it on to second base. They got him. Strike him out. Throw him out. Double play. Jimenez guns down Kadire. And we go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Minnesota. Indians Hall of Fame before the ball game here tonight, and he's got members of his extended family all in a suite here at the ball game. Might be a couple of suites, huh?
I think up there.
Or is that just one big one?
Yeah, I think that's one big one that hold about 60, 70 people.
It's a big party suite. Why not? It's a big party.
Yes, it is. An enjoyable one.
Yeah. Shelley Duncan DHing. Batting cleanup, 1 for 4 with a 2-run double in last night's game.
Yeah, we look at since the All-Star break in the Central Division, Minnesota has the best record. They've been 15-7, and their team ERA has been .350. The Indians not far behind.
Duncan, soft line drive into left center field, and the Indians get their leadoff man aboard here in inning number 2. It is time now for the AT&T trivia question. AT&T Rethink Possible. All right, 3 Indians have won 4 or more Gold Gloves. Can you name them? Let's see. 4 or more Gold Gloves. Well, I know one of them. No, I know 2 of them. I don't think the other guy that I'm thinking of was here long enough to get his 4th as an Indian. It's probably really obvious, too. Oh, 1 pitch, and that just missed to Jordan Brown. Making his home Indians debut after getting the call-up to make his Major League debut on the last road trip in Toronto, then got his first Major League hit in Boston. And that's outside. 2 balls and a strike.
But when you I can't believe that Pavano has only had like 3 or 4 3-0 counts this year. Out of all the batters that he has faced, you talk about pounding the strike zone, and that's exactly what Minnesota preaches. And last night, Francisco Liriano walked 6 guys.
Jordan Brown drives one pretty well deep to left. Young is back on the track, and he pulls it down. Duncan back to first. 1 away here in inning number 2. Brown gave it a ride the other way. Let's look at our great clip of the game from last night, brought to you by Great Clips. Matt Laporta with a game-winning home run in the bottom of the 9th. His first of his career. Relax, you're at Great Clips. And a strike called to Matt Laporta, who said last night he never had a game-winning home run.
Well, they're fun. He realized that last night. It was a fun trot around the bases, and the whole team met him at home plate.
You figure a guy like this somewhere along the line,
right?
Little League, high school, college, somewhere you had to have one of those.
You would certainly think so.
Nothing wrong with getting your first one in the big leagues, though. That ball's hit to right field. Back is Kubel, still going back, and he makes the grab on the warning track for out number 2. So the Indians have driven a couple of balls deep in the inning, but nothing to show for it. Luis Valbuena getting the start tonight at second base. Will bat here with a runner at first and 2 down in the second. Minnesota leading it 1-0. Breaking ball hit well again. Deep right field. Kubel back. This one is going to be caught as well. Wow. Kubel with a terrific running, leaping catch on the warning track. So the Indians tested that track here in the early going, but can't seem to break through. Greatness moment. Third inning here at Progressive Field will feature Drew Butera, Denard Span, and Alexi Casilla. for the visiting Twins. And Fausto Carmona fires a first pitch strike to Butera, who was 1 for 2 last night. And a ground ball foul.
This is his 28th start behind the plate this year for Butera. Remember back in April, he got his first major league hit off Mitch Talbot.
Two strike pitches down low. We mentioned last night he's the son of former big league catcher Sal Butera. And normally the backup catching spot to Joe Mauer, you might catch 3-4 times a month.
Yeah, it's been a little different this year.
But with Mauer struggling with the shoulder problem, had a cortisone shot last week. He's DH'd in the first 2 games of this series. Some more playing time. The 2-2. Strike 3 called. And that's the second strikeout for Fausto Carmona as Butera says something under his breath to Jerry Davis as he heads back to the dugout.
Well, tomorrow will be Kids Fun Day, and you can save big with WKYC Summer Sunday $3 offer. Buy an adult ticket and get up to 2 tickets for kids 12 and under for just $3. Plus, enjoy all the activities out on the plaza. So get your tickets at Indians.com. That'll be tomorrow as this series wraps up.
Denard Span cracked his bat and popped one up on the infield his first time to the plate here tonight. And a strike is called to even the count at 1-1. 30 pitches so far for Fausto tonight. 17 of them have been for strikes. And he pounds the strike zone again. It's 1-2. Fausto with a long look in on the 1-2. And that one goes all the way to the backstop. Span and then Alexi Casilla here in the third for Ron Gardenhire's team, who was really angry after the ball game last night with the umpiring crew. Popped up, foul ground. Nix near the coach's box. 2 down. Browns training camp daily continues tonight at 11 on STO. Join Jim Donovan, Tony Grossi, and Doug Deacon as they'll have updates and wrap up from the scrimmage at Family Day today. For more updates on training camp, follow STO Browns on Twitter. Training camp daily tonight at 11 right here on STO. That's always the really bad joke when you have a inter-squad scrimmage. Did you win? You know, that kind of thing. They actually did break the squad up into 2 different teams, and we understand Jake Delome's team won. Here's a throw to second from Chu, but it's offline. And Alexi Casilla is 2 for 2 tonight, and now 4 for 7 in the series.
Some kind of series, and that's a good job hustling to get yourself in scoring position. There's 2 outs, and not many people will try and test the arm of Shin-Soo Choo. He has been very accurate this year. He ended up hitting a really good sinker down in the zone. It might have been out of the zone. Look at Chu. He was waiting for him to go, but his throw's offline, and that's good hustle to get himself into scoring position with 2 outs.
He's in there for Joe Mauer, who fouled out his first time up. Mauer 0 for 4 now in the series. Looks at the ball down and in. Carmona ready with a 1-0. And that's right in there for a strike to even the count. Well, it's been an odd year for Joe Mauer. I mean, he hasn't hit for a lot of power, but there you see, in the clutch, he's been dynamite.
He usually is. He's a tough out. He's so disciplined at the plate. He doesn't swing out of the zone. Rarely will he go out of zone to swing at a pitch. He's very patient. He doesn't try to pull the ball. That's why, you know, his power is down. And that ballpark that they moved into, Matt, you just can't drive the ball to left center like the old Metrodome.
But he does have 35 doubles, so it's not like he's just a punch and Judy all of a sudden.
No, this guy, I mean, the ball jumps off his bat, and he's not swinging it like he can right now, and that shoulder must be affecting him.
There's a 2-out single to center. Coming around third, Alexi Casillas flying home. Here's the throw to the plate, way offline. And down to second on the throw goes Joe Mauer. And the Twins lead it 2-0 now. Mauer with his 59th run batted in on the year.
Boy, right up his alley. You go at him and watch this line drive. That was a pitch right down the middle. And he took advantage of it. You see how short and quick that swing is for a big guy? The throw from Brantley comes in. Misses his cutoff man, but that's when Mauer goes into scoring position.
So here's Delman Young, who flied to center his first time up. Twins had a hit in the first, 2 in the second, 2 more here in the third. Already 5 knocks against Fausto Carmona. And already 40 pitches now for the Indians right-hander. He had the first 2 out in this third inning. But the 2-out double followed by the 2-out RBI single. Now a broken bat fly ball to shallow left center field. Brantley is there and the inning is over. We head to the bottom of the third. It's now Minnesota 2 and Cleveland 0. Gorgeous night here in downtown Cleveland. Kenny Lofton inducted into the Indians Hall of Fame before tonight's ball game. And also being inducted for distinguished service, Cy Slapnicka, who as a general manager signed the who's who of Cleveland Indians when you talk about the 40s. Oh, 30s, 40s, 50s.
Right, because he started with, Feller, of course. Mel Harder.
Roger Maris.
Lou Boudreau.
Yeah, he's terrific.
Oh, Alexi Casillas left the game. Interesting.
He went head first into second base. I wonder if he did anything to his hand, wrist.
Well, he came around to score, and he kind of slid awkwardly into the plate. Might have had some contact with Chris Jimenez. Take another look here. Well, I don't know.
Look at knee. Maybe a knee. He went straight on that knee. He didn't slide. He sort of like fell right on that knee. You know how he went. It looked like it dug straight into the ground.
Swung on and missed. And Jason Nick strikes out. Carl Pavano just keeps on rolling along here. That's his second strikeout.
Watch it go straight in. Well, there it was, and he's out of the game.
Carl Pavano has thrown 9 straight strikes, make it 10. Starting to dial in. Up high. Chris Jimenez looking to break through here against Carl Pavano. The one thing that we've seen already with Pavano is that because he throws a lot of strikes, there are some balls that you can hit hard.
Well, and I bet he can have some innings where he throws 7 or 8 pitches because guys are going to be aggressive throwing that many strikes, and that's why he can keep his pitch count down.
Chris Jimenez 3 hits and 18 at bats this year, trying to Indians have 1 hit so far. That was a leadoff single in the second by Shelley Duncan. And in that same inning, Laporta and Balbuena sent balls deep to the warning track. I beg your pardon, Jordan Brown and Balbuena sent balls to the warning track.
Tommy tells me that Pavano just a hair under 14 pitches per inning. He averages.
Strike 3 called. Well, he's going to be around the plate. A Subway fresh face of the game, Matt McBride, a hit in 7 of 8 with Columbus. Eastern League Player of the Month to Double-A. Subway, play hard, eat fresh. Two down for Michael Brantley. It's not a case where you want to go up there and just hack away, but again, if he's going to throw a lot of strikes early in the count, if you get one to your liking, you don't want to let it just slide on by, do you?
Well, he's going to make his, he'll move it in and out. And if he sees you're on it, he'll start you off with a breaking ball, but he's making it look really easy.
3 complete, 2-0 Minnesota. 2-0 Twins, fourth inning here at Progressive Field. Jason Kubel, who homered his first time up, is the batter. Kubel's solo homer in the second, and Joe Mauer's 2-out RBI single in the third, accounting for all the scoring thus far. There's a high pop foul out of play down the left side. Right in the midst of some Twins fans. What do you know about that?
Well, you know, they may come here to get a weekend. Oh, that got him.
So Kubel, who homered last night and his last time up, hit by the pitch.
Well, it just gets inside, and Fausto realizes, man, I cannot leave balls out over the plate. Just gets that jersey. Wonder if he gets him with his regular uniform.
Some extra cloth on this one.
Yeah.
Michael Kadire base hit his first time up. Carmona trying to find it, but he has not been his same old self here in the early going. He does not have a ground ball out yet, and that's unusual.
That's was strange in the second inning to me. Normally he comes out and they're right on the ground.
Nice grab, but he didn't come up with it. Oh, he did have it. Somebody else lost the ball then? And the 2-strike pitch. A little bit outside. There's a drive to right field. Racing back is Chu, and he'll turn around and make the grab. And back to first goes Kubel for out number one here in the fourth. In the Twin innings, had a chance to talk. Same old Carl Pavano throwing a lot of strikes, but what's he doing specifically to keep guys off balance here in the early going?
Well, he's got, good idea of how to pitch, obviously, and he's changing speeds, and his fastball. He's even changing speeds on his fastball whenever he's behind in the count, and it's a fastball count. You know, he's humping it up a little bit at 91, 92, and, he's got that good changeup and good slider. And also Carl is able to spot the ball, too, pretty good. So, I mean, that's what he does, and so far we hit some balls hard, and hopefully some of them will go in the gap.
Manny, thanks for stopping by.
All right, guys.
Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it's popped up on the infield. Third baseman Jason Nix. He's got it, 2 down. Let's go back to the studios for an in-game update. Here's Al.
All right, Matt, Rick, let's go to Florida, where Jake Westbrook is on the hill for the Cardinals and Hanley Ramirez leaving the yard for the Marlins. Been the only run so far, his 15th homer of the year. 1-0 Florida, third inning in Miami. Back to you.
2 down for J.J. Hardy. Struck out his first time up, man. He looks at a ball outside.
Yeah, I just have never seen so many balls hit in the air off Carmona. And I mean like high fly balls.
An unusual night, to say the least, for Fausto Carmona. And the 1-1 is in the dirt. Jammed him, and that's going to go foul up into the seats. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, a runner at first here in the 4th. Minnesota on top 2-0. .55 pitches for Fausto Carmona. Hit off the end of the bat toward right. There is Fausto, or excuse me, there's Chu, and Fausto gets out of the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. It's still 2-0 Minnesota. With his family members.
They're having a ball up there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Kenny can't get out of the way.
Pitch to Asdrubal Cabrera, a called strike. And, of course, in baseball retirement, Kenny is staying busy. He has his own production company.
What's it, CLE Entertainment?
I believe that's, yeah, I believe that's the name of it. And he said they're producing some television shows. And, of course, first you have to produce them. You have to get them paid for. Then you shop them around to different networks and TV places, outlets, to try to get them on the air. So he said it's been a lot of work.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm sure it is. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
You get into that business, very competitive.
Two balls and 2 strikes. As Asdrubal Cabrera flied to center his first time up. And he foul tipped it into the glove of Drew Butera. And that's 4 strikeouts now for Pavano. Time now for our Miller Taste Greatness moment. Kenny Lofton with a bunt single. And then this is a play that they'll be talking about for years to come. Ruben Amaro scored from third on the wild pitch, and Kenny Lofton came all the way from second.
A flash of light. Next thing you know.
Kenny said, once I got a full head of steam, I knew I could make it. Now Shin-Soo Choo with a line drive base hit into left field.
Pretty nice approach right there.
Second hit of the night for the Tribe.
You know, the guys that have hit the ball to go the other way, they've done a nice job. Here, Chu hits a line drive, and Valbuena was robbed. He did pull the ball. Laporta went that way, and they hit it hard, staying on it. We heard Manny say that he's changing speeds, changing with his fastball, also with a changeup. You know, don't be surprised to see Chu running here, because As I mentioned, just as I did with Carmona, you can steal off Pavano just as easy. He has allowed 24 stolen bases.
Well, we'll see how aggressively they want to play it. Down a couple of runs.
You're still into that part of the game where if you feel and you've got one of your better base runners, if he gets a jump, he could make it.
Pavano with a 1-0, and Duncan cuts and misses to even the count at 1-1. .45 pitches for Pavano, 29 strikes. Chu rose back to first as Pavano chases him over.
Carl Pavano, when he was here, he didn't pitch for almost those 4 years when he was in New York. Came back and really did a nice job here. And you can tell he's fully healthy this year because he's having an outstanding year.
Well, he's no longer the flamethrower power guy that he was early in his career with Florida. But, I mean, I don't want to say he's reinvented himself, but he's learned how to use what he has to his advantage.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. He knows how to pitch. He's changing speeds. That is the art to pitching, keeping you off balance. And when you compare those numbers, he won 18 games in 04. And at this time in 04, at the same number of starts, he was 12-5 that year with about 160 innings. This year, he's 13-7, and he's about 5 innings short of that. He had a few more strikeouts in 04 because maybe he threw a little bit harder, but his ERA very similar. So
swing and a miss. He gets hitters to go fish for that changeup, and that is 5 strikeouts now for Pavano, 2 down here in the inning. Every time the Indians homer this year, we raise money for the Gathering Place. Great Clips donates $50 per homer. Rick and I each chip in $5 per dinger. You can log on to touchedbycancer.org to make a donation or to learn more about the Gathering Place. Jordan Brown, who flied to deep left his first time up, steps in now. Now the right-hander comes set, and the 1-0 pitch to Brown. Instead of throwing to first, Chu was definitely leaning towards second, but he was able to dive back in safely.
Had him leaning a little bit. Well, he wanted to go, and he still had time to get back. We see some right-handers with really quick moves. Pavano has not one.
Jordan Brown ropes it down into the right field corner. Chu off and rolling. He's around second, on his way to third. He's going to be waved home. The relay throw to the plate, not in time, and the Indians are on the board. Jordan Brown with his first major league run batted in. His second double on the year. It's a 2-1 ball game.
Well, a 2-out double. That's a big run for the Indians right there. Got it in the corner, and once Kubel couldn't cut this ball off, Chu was going to score with 2 outs. It looked like it might have been a little changeup. And he turns on it. It's going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by the time Kubel gets there, the relay comes in, and there is Chu. He's going to round all the way and score, get the Indians on the board. And that consecutive game extra base hit string continues. It is now 60.
And a called strike to Matt Laporta. Fly to deep right his first time up.
It gets the crowd into it a little bit. They haven't had a whole lot to cheer about.
Well, remember, it was Brown, Laporta, and Valbuena who all had good swings against Pavano their first time up. And now a hard ground ball single into left field. Coming around third, Brown will score. And we are tied at 2. So Matt Laporta follows Jordan Brown to even the game.
Looked like a little fastball there. He tried to sink, and Laporta was ready for it. Drilled it in the hole between short and third. Brown scores easily. They cut that ball off. Laporta stays at first, so a couple of 2-out hits, and the Indians have tied this game up. 43% of their runs have scored with 2 outs. That is 194 now on the year.
Now Valbuena, he might have had the hardest hit ball in that second inning. It was over the head of Kubel in right field. He made a terrific catch. A guy who's not necessarily known for his glove.
He did make a great play.
And Valbuena with a base hit. So all 3 guys who crushed the ball but were robbed in their first at bat all come through with hits here second time around. And on the bobble by Kubel, Laporta goes to third. So we just talked about him not being known for his defense, and he kind of muffed an easy play right there that allows a runner to get into scoring position.
Well, that's a ball I think Laporta should have been going anyway, but he pulled up, and then once he bobbles it, that ball went between his legs. And maybe that's why he didn't. But after that bobble, then Laporta starts back up. That'll probably be a hit and an error. But it is 3 consecutive hits now with 2 outs. And I mean, they've been loud hits.
So tonight, loud outs have led to loud hits. And the Indians all this with 2 outs in the inning. And Jason Nix will be the batter.
It's the 39th error for the Twins this year on that bobble right there by Kubel.
And Nix takes a strike. He had a good game last night, going 3 for 4 with the Indians. Nix, a .264 hitter so far, with 7 homers and 14 runs batted in. Chased after it, 0-2. There's a fly ball to right field, routine this time for Kubel, and the inning is over. But the Indians with a little 2-out magic score a pair, and after 4, we're tied up at 2 apiece.
These are now available in wild berry and strawberry banana flavors. By KeyBank. Stop in and start a conversation and unlock your possibilities. And by Panini's, now open in Chagrin Falls, Solon, and Brunswick. Visit paninisgrill.com.
Fifth inning here at Progressive Field, and we are tied at 2. Drew Butera to lead it off, called out on strikes his first time up. And that's outside to even the count at 1-1. Fausto Carmona has made 58 pitches now on the night. So has Carl Pavano.
See if Fausto can come out here and have a quick inning and get that offense right back into the dugout.
Well, he hit Jason Kubel leading off the fourth, then retired the Twins 1-2-3, albeit all by balls hit in the air. He's Fausto, the fly ball pitcher tonight. Pitch number 60 is swung on and missed, and that evens the count at 2-2.
I guess that's okay. Normally you get ground balls. We're used to seeing it as long as they're fly ball outs. Just get outs.
Ground ball to third. What do you know? Jason Nix guns it over, and Carmona gets the ground ball out here, his first of the night, 1 down in the 5th. This scoreboard update is brought to you by Wendy's. You know when it's real. Wendy's. Top of the order here is Denard Span, 0 for 2. Twice he has popped the ball up tonight. And both times it's been on the left side of the infield. Well, there's something you don't see every day.
What's that?
Ground ball foul. I'm looking out on the scoreboard. It says San Diego at Arizona. They're in a delay.
I saw that. And you know what? I don't know if something's wrong with the roof or we're having monsoons out there. I don't know. I saw that and I thought the same thing.
Normally you don't have that problem when you've got the lid.
Another time up there.
As Dribble Cabrera runs it down, and that's quickly 2 outs here in the 5th inning.
Well, Rock and Blast, Cleveland's award-winning fireworks and multimedia extravaganza, will return Friday and Saturday. It's twice the fireworks, music and excitement, and soundtrack featuring the classic rock legends of love. Tickets are on sale now. Visit Indians.com or call 216-420-HITS.
I can tell you it's 98 degrees in Arizona.
Yeah, well, that shouldn't stop the game.
It wouldn't be delayed because of hot.
Right. No, it wouldn't. That's not hot for August.
There's a pop out of play. Oh, you know what it says? The game is being delayed due to ceremonies. So maybe they had. They're retiring Luis Gonzalez's jersey before the game tonight.
See that? You find that out, and it's, 3 hours difference?
Popped up. Coming hard as Chu into foul ground. Makes the running catch. And once and for all, the Twins are set down 1, 2, 3. 6 in a row retired by Carmona. Chris Jimenez swinging at the first pitch, popping it up on the infield. And the shortstop, J.J. Hardy, puts it away for out number 1. This game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Minnesota jumped on top on a Jason Kubel home run. Then Joe Mauer with a 2-out RBI single made it 2-zip. Tribe comes back. Jordan Brown with a 2-out RBI double. Matt Laporta, 2-out RBI single to even it up at 2 apiece. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com.
Now that 2-out hitting has been Cleveland's theme this year. They started this series out 0 for 9, but they've been 3 for their last 3, or 3 for their last 4.
No balls, 2 strikes, the count on Michael Brantley, who twice has grounded out. Second baseman throws him out, 2 away. Tonight's GMC 5-Star League leaders brought to you by the GMC Sierra. Never send a truck to do a Sierra's job. Carl Pavano, 1 behind David Price for the American League lead in wins.
Did CC win today? I know he was pitching against Boston. Oh, okay. CC got 14 today.
So that that was not including his victory.
Right,
then.
that's
Right.
not today, right.
As Drupal Cabrera looks at a ball inside. By the way, they tell us that Alexi Casilla, the Twins second baseman, left the game with a left ankle injury.
No,
And
he
it
was
definitely looked like when he slid into home plate, he was hurting. So whether he did it running the bases or on the slide,
he was having a terrific series, a start to it anyway. All right, let's look at the ankle. I wonder if it hits the shin.
Oh, it hit the shin guard.
Yeah, there. That's what did it. They're right there. It gets caught on that shin guard of Jimenez.
Full count. Now the payoff pitch. A little bit outside.
Well, that's pretty good patience if you can draw a walk from this guy.
Just the 25th issued by Pavano this year. And it will bring up Shin-Soo Choo, who singled and scored the Tribe's first run of this game in the 4th. And it's a strike over the inside corner to Choo. Runner goes. Pitches down low. Throw to second. Not in. Oh, they call him out. Oh, my. So Cabrera is erased on the steal attempt at second. It sure looked like he was in there, but he is done. And we are through 5 complete, tied at 2. East Ohio, Mark's location.
So come into your nearest Marks, where you'll find a huge selection at low prices every day.
Kenny Lofton inducted into the Indians Hall of Fame before today's ball game. And he's definitely had a great time back here in Cleveland. And enjoying his Hall of Fame night with a large group of family and friends. Joe Mauer drove in a run in the third. Checked his swing. That was with a 2-out RBI hit. That was the last hit in this game for Minnesota. Carmona has hit a batter since then. But other than that, he's retired them all. 6 in a row. And 7 of 8. Now the 1-1. A little bit high. 70 pitches now for Fausto on the night. 41 for strikes. There's a line drive base hit to right field. And the Twins leadoff man is aboard here in the 6th. Now time for the answer to our AT&T trivia question. AT&T Rethink Possible. So we're thinking Kenny Lofton, Omar Vizquel, and
Vic.
way back to the 60s.
Yeah, first baseman, Vic Power.
I think Vic Power ended up winning 7 Gold Gloves in his career.
4 here with the Indians and moved on. Yeah, he was supposed to be a very good fielder.
There's a high drive. Back into right field. Shoe. He's got it. Mauer retreats to first, 1 away. Well, Jason Kubel has been busy tonight offensively with a towering home run to put the Twins on top early. And then how about with the leather? Yeah.
Very
taking
good catch.
extra bases away right there from Luis Valbuena. And saving at least a run there for Minnesota in the process.
Now, the last year when he was here, he ended up playing left field. But this year he is playing right field.
Ground ball to second. They get one there. Cabrera on the relay is in time to double play. Tried turns 2 behind Fausto Carmona. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Still knotted up at 2 apiece. 2-2, bottom of the 6th inning. Shin-Soo Choo, Shelley Duncan, and Jordan Brown for the Indians against Carl Pavano. Fausto Carmona only needed 7 pitches to get through the top half of this inning.
And he got that ground ball double play. Number 23 for Fausto.
Shin-Soo Choo sends a big bouncer on the first pitch to second base. 1 away. Let's go back to the studios once again for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski. He's got the latest on Chicago and Baltimore.
That's correct, Matt. Let's go to Camden Yards, where the Orioles under Buck Showalter are 4-0. Well, the White Sox trying to get back at them. They were down 2-0. Solo shot by Carlos Quentin makes it 2-1, but they're still down by a run. 5th inning in Baltimore. Matt?
All right, thanks, Al. Here is Shelley Duncan, 1 for 2 with a single. One ball, one strike for Duncan, who singled to lead off the second inning, but was stranded at first and struck out his last time up. Just couldn't pull the trigger there on a good fastball from Pavano.
You know why? He's seeing so many changeups and off-speed pitches, and all of a sudden you start looking for it, and then boom, next thing you know, it's by you. And he has a pretty good fastball still at about 93, 94. See, here comes 88. Looked like a little splitter or something.
It's almost like he's maybe increased his velocity a little bit since we saw him a year ago. At least occasionally he can still dial it up there. Not that he's going to consistently throw it 94 all night, but fastball in. That was interesting, the series there. Butera, first one of the changeup, then the slider, then the fastball away, and then they just settled on the fastball in. Carl Pavano had a pretty good idea of what he wants to do in this at-bat. And that slider in the dirt. Sometimes, pitchers have told me in the past that sometimes you'll shake a catcher off just to throw a batter off once in a while,
sure
too. Just shake them off, all the signs.
Well, and sometimes you'll see the catcher looking out at you, say shake it off sometimes, because, instead of just getting into a rhythm or a rut of calling the pitch, yes, you'll do that. What guys used to do that they don't do anymore, or at least I haven't seen anybody in a long time, they used to add and subtract, from the signs. Like your veteran pitchers would do that, your Gaylords and other pitchers, Don Suttons. Anything above the waist with their glove, if they rub their jersey, you add one. If it's below their waist, you take it away from wherever you end up.
So that requires a catcher to have to do math.
Well, exactly. And, pitchers would actually call their own game. If they ended up putting a 3 down, then you'd see the pitcher go up top, you add 2. So you go to 4 or 5, or whatever 5 would be. And it was different. I don't see any pitchers doing that anymore.
Probably easier for them to just continue to shake until they get the one they want.
I think it is.
Show me another one. No, show me another one.
Instead of having the catcher come out, and he does draw another walk.
Shelley Duncan. He's down to first with 1 out. Second walk issued by Pavano in consecutive innings here tonight.
Well, Wahoo Women is an exclusive pregame event on Tuesday. It features health screenings, product samplings, and a fashion show. And a ticket includes access to the event and the Indians-Orioles game at 7, as well as a limited edition T-shirt and a donation to the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign. Visit Indians.com to find out more.
Here's Jordan Brown, who doubled in a run and scored in the 4th. Pavano straightens him up with a fastball. Looked like he got a hanging slider the last time up. And he pulled it down into that right field corner. Chu scoring on that play. So we'll see if Jordan Brown can do it again. This time with Duncan aboard. Pulls that foul past Sandy Alomar. About the quick change Sandy Alomar pulled off today.
Yeah, I know. That was great.
He was in a suit prior to the game for the Kenny Lofton Hall of Fame induction ceremony, then had to dash into the clubhouse, change out of his suit, get in uniform.
It was that suit that CLE Productions brought in. It's a rip
Just
away.
rip it off?
Yeah, he had his baseball uniform on underneath, I think. He got out so fast.
Brown down on the count 0-2. Pop that back out of play.
We'd also like to send out a special happy birthday wish to Sue Folk, who is the wife of Jim Folk, the guy that's in charge of operations here at the ballpark. She is turning 50 today. So, Sue, very happy birthday. She's in a suite down behind home plate.
Well, she deserves it
tonight. She sure does. I would. Could you imagine if we had a rain delay today and she would be here with Jim? He'd be all over the place.
Here's the 0-2. Ground ball in the hole. And Plouffe gave it a game effort, couldn't get to it, and then Kubel drops it again. Brown hustling into second base as Duncan was already into third. So for the second time tonight, Jason Kubel's had a tough time just picking a ball up, and the Indians have taken advantage.
You see, that's why Duncan was running anyway. He was going to go. He made up his mind to go to third base, and I think Jason Kubel tried to peek. And when he did that, he missed the ball, and that enabled Brown to go to second base. So you put the pressure on him. He's the one guy you want to try and make you put pressure on. You see him peek up? He didn't have the ball in his glove, and he couldn't hold it. So that'll be the second error of the night for Kubel, and that's where Brown continues to hustle into second base. Second and third, one out. Good situation now for the Tribe.
All right, so the Twins will bring the infield partway in. They're not all the way in at the cut of the grass, but they're halfway in on the dirt. And Matt Laporta, who singled in a run his last time up, is the batter.
Well, this is where you really want to take advantage of that extra out here. It takes him away from that double play situation. Gives Matt Laporta an opportunity now.
And Laporta grounds it to third. The runners hold. And Valencia throws him out, 2 down. Well, I suppose with Carl Pavano, you want to be aggressive because you know he's throwing a lot of strikes, but that's where you play into his hand sometimes,
well,
too.
yeah, but there, when you go up in that situation, you're looking to hit a ball in the air. You're looking for something elevated where you can lift and at least hit it in the air. You don't want to hit it on the ground because you can see the infielders in.
So much of the name of the game of pitching is the hitter getting themselves out.
Well, especially with runners in scoring position. Young hitters do get too aggressive. You know, sometimes they figure, okay, this guy's going to throw me a fastball and I got to get after that first pitch. Well, that's where the real pitchers go up there. You may not see a fastball for a while, and when you do, it's going to be in on your hands.
Luis Valbuena
like that.
Looks at a strike.
Now, he may not see another fastball in this at-bat for a strike. But he got that first one past him. That's where veteran pitchers, they do. They have it. It takes a while for young hitters.
Popped him up. In comes Delman Young. The left fielder's got it. And a scoring opportunity is squandered by the Tribe. 6 complete. Tied at 2.
AT&T. Find out more of what's possible at att.com. AT&T, rethink possible. By the Sierra from GMC. Never send a truck to do a Sierra's job. And by Wendy's. You know when it's real. Wendy's.
2-2 our score. 7th inning now. 75th pitch of the night coming up here for Fausto Carmona. He'll face Michael Kadire, Danny Valencia, and J.J. Hardy for the Twins to start inning number 7. Kadire 1 for 2 with a base hit back in the 2nd inning. Kadire with a mighty hack, but he comes up empty. 1-2. Slow chopper foul wide of third. You know, it's interesting when you look at the Central Division and you look at the teams, how they've played in the division. And what do we always say? You have to win in the division to win the division. Minnesota's 27-16 against Central Division opponents, and they're a game and a half out of first as we start play tonight. Team with the second best record within the division is the Indians.
I know it. They made a turnaround.
21-18. Within the division. They're a little bit ahead of Chicago, who's just 20-21, and a big reason for that is because they beat the daylights out of the White Sox early in the season.
Yeah, that is. You're exactly right. And when you look after the break, Minnesota, as I was saying earlier, Minnesota's 15-7 with a 3.50 ERA. The Indians are right there, 13-9 with the White Sox, 13-9. With the Indians at 3.71, the White Sox 3.26, but you know.
So all three teams have pitched well.
Yes.
Thus they've played well and won.
Exactly.
In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, that's when Minnesota they hit their little slump. Their pitchers were getting hammered. They were not pitching very well. Their starters couldn't go out. Blackburn was struggling.
Softly hit down the right field line. Hits inside the line, a fair ball. And into second base goes Kadire, sliding with a double.
That caught chalk. Boy, oh boy, that's a game of inches. That thing, no one was going to get to it. Laporta had to turn and run. Kadire knew it, so he was running out of the box. That's a great pitch. He did a better job to just put that ball in play, and it stays fair, right on the line. And the umpire, he had a bird's eye view. And that's good hustle. Kadire gets into second base, the leadoff double.
After a 9-pitch at bat, Kadire leads off with a double, and he'll go to third on this ground ball to third base. Nix throws out Valencia, 1 away.
Well, if you want to celebrate the dog days of summer, come on out to Dollar Dog Night Thursday when the Baltimore Orioles will be in town. They'll be wrapping up that series. It's 7:05 start. Come on down early, watch batting practice, enjoy dogs all night long for $1.
Grounded foul. Hit the leg of J.J. Hardy. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out and flied out. He's trying to get that go-ahead run home from third. That's why the Indians have the infield in here.
Well, now it's Minnesota's turn. The Indians had their chance, and Pavano worked around it. See if Carmona can do the same.
Left side of the infield bunched closely together. They're expecting him to try and pull it hard. But he socks it up the middle for a base hit. The runner had to hold initially, but he's going to score easily.
Anything on the line,
he wanted to make sure it went through and dropped. And so the Minnesota Twins lead it by a score of 3-2 as J.J. Hardy has his 23rd run batted in on the year.
You see how short and quick he was. He just wanted to make sure he was able to get that ball to the outfield grass. So Minnesota comes back. They take advantage of the man on third in less than 2 outs, and they take a 3-2 lead.
And Drew Butera 0 for 2 is the batter. Runner goes, bouncing ball to short. They will not be able to turn the double play. Cabrera does get Butera at first for out number 2, but Hardy goes into scoring position. So you move the runner to stay out of the double play, and it works out well. Top of the order in Denard Span, who's 0 for 3. Stay tuned after the game for Chuck's last call. We'll take all your calls and emails right after the postgame show.
Well, once they got the lead, I think that's what he wanted to do, start a runner. Hopefully he was going to find a hole. He didn't with his number 9 hitter, but he gets the runner into scoring position.
Span, all 3 times tonight, has popped the ball up on the left side. And a strike is called. Minnesota has taken a 3-2 advantage. They led 2-0. The Indians came back to tie it with a pair in the 4th. Now Minnesota pushes ahead the go-ahead run here in the 7th. Foul tip, 2-2. Might have caught Jimenez on the follow through. He's readjusting the helmet. Two down, a runner at second here in the 7th inning. Carmona just over the 90 pitch mark. Bounce foul. Now the right-hander, he fires, and Span spoils it yet again. On this current road trip for Minnesota, Denard Span has just 4 hits and 23 at bats. But he's a guy capable of getting it going. He had a 9-game hitting streak in April and an 8-game hitting streak in May.
Yeah, he's there. I don't think he's swinging it like he can right now, but I'll tell you, he's a guy. This is a big run out there with Pavano on the mound.
You know, it's not surprising that it happened in Detroit. No, I guess it didn't. It actually happened in Minnesota. Span had a 3-triple game against the Tigers June 29th. Although Minnesota's a pretty good triples park, too.
Yes, it is. Yes, it certainly is.
Pretty good sized gaps. Ooh, you could see Jerry Davis flinch, but he didn't pull the trigger, and it's 3-2. Looked like he wanted to raise the right hand, ever so slightly flinched. You can see him changed his mind. And the count goes full. It's the second 9-pitch at bat of the inning. Kadire started it with a double. Span ends it with a strikeout. But Kadire's double leads to the go-ahead run. Minnesota on top 3-2. Stretch time here in Cleveland. Sandwich with 3 new locations now open in Chagrin Falls, Solon, and Brunswick. Coming soon to Twinsburg. Log on to paninisgrill.com for a list of all their locations. Carl Pavano has worked through 6 innings. Now he's working with the lead for the second time tonight. They handed him a 2-0 lead in the third, but he gave back the lead in the fourth. But now Minnesota's regained it here in the 7th. Jason Nix, Chris Jimenez, Michael Brantley due up for the Tribe. Bouncing ball up the middle, and the Indians have their leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the 7th inning in a 1-run game. And it looks like Chris Jimenez is being called back for a pinch hitter. And we'll see what Manny Acta has up his sleeve. He's got Andy Marte, Jason Donnell, Lou Marson, Trevor Crow all on the bench.
Well, usually you're going to bunt in this situation. You bring Crow out.
And that's who it is.
And then you've got Marson to go in. So Trevor Crow going to come out, and obviously this is going to be a bunt situation.
And Crow, switch hitter, will bat from the left side. Third baseman Danny Valencia already in on the grass at third.
Crow has 3 sacrifices on the year.
The pitch, and Crow not showing bunt. Takes a pitch down low.
Maybe he doesn't want to give up the out here.
Well, with the runner being held at first, you do have the hole open on the right side. Let's see what happens here now. He's still not showing bunt. Takes it again. It's 2-0.
Indians are 4 for 10 when Pavano is pitching out of the stretch. But now you're getting a count in your favor where you might want to start your runner a little bit as well.
The pitch. And he takes a strike. It's 2-1.
Still a good count. You know, and Pavano's the ultimate. He's around the plate. So even if he misses, rarely does he miss that badly where you couldn't put the ball in play. He would be a good guy to hit and run on.
The 2-1 pitch. Fouled out of play. Michael Brantley is the on-deck hitter. And the 2-2 to Crow. Woo, close, full count. Take another look at where this was.
It's the first time he's seen a pitch inside. He was trying to dot the eye. That's wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. This so far in last night and tonight, there's been small strike zones. It's been hitter strike zones. Let me put it that way. There were some pitches made that we thought were strikes.
Runner goes. Pitch is inside. It's ball 4. And Pavano's still agitated by the previous pitch that he didn't get called.
I think you're absolutely right. He tried to throw that same pitch, but tried to make it that much better, and he ends up walking his third.
And so the Indians have their first 2 on here in the bottom of the 7th with nobody out. And now Michael Brantley, the batter.
You're bunting.
And you better believe everybody on that Twins infield is looking for the bunt here. They're flashing the signs. Valencia, the third baseman, is giving the signs to the rest of the infielders.
This is the 3rd time that Pavano has walked 3 guys in a game this year. May 6th against Baltimore, he did it. He did it at Kansas City on the 27th of July, and now tonight.
He squares, bunts it, beautifully executed. Pavano turns, nobody at third. He forgot, and just does get Brantley at first in the blink of an eye. Woo. Close play at first, but the Indians have runners at second and third with 1 out now.
Yeah, a little surprising that he even looked at third base, knowing that that guy's going to be charging. They have the number play. Here he comes, and he figures he's going to have to get it. And Pavano, he didn't turn all the way. If he would have turned a little bit more, it would have been a problem for him. But nice job, Michael Brantley. High fives all the way around. Now it's up to your boys to get him in.
As Drupal Cabrera is the batter, 0 for 2 with a walk. Infielders are in at the corners, even with the bags back in the middle. And a ground ball right to the first baseman. Easy play for Kadire, 2 down. Boy, oh boy. The Indians have not been able to execute here.
Well, they may not even pitch
the last
to
2
here.
innings.
They're not even going to pitch to Chu. And, you know, this may be the 4th walk for him, and it'll be a season high, and I don't blame him. A second straight inning, he had Laporta ground out to third. This time Cabrera to first, and they can't get that runner in from third base. Now, it looks like Pavano's doing the talking. They're just going to go out and see exactly what they want to do here with Chu at the plate and first base open. And if it was up to me, I wouldn't even mess around. Chu's got a very good eye. I'd put him on, but Pavano's a veteran. He knows what he wants to do.
And Shin-Soo Choo will get the free pass.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's going to be a season high 4 walks.
It'll put it up to Shelley Duncan with the bases loaded and 2 down when he gets in there. But you know, you look back to last night's game. Last night's game, the Indians had opportunities, especially early in the game, to add and score.
Oh, they had too many. They blew a lot of opportunities early to really make it a rout. They allowed Kansas City to come back into the game after their bullpen gave up 5 runs. Now they can't capitalize 2 straight innings. Now it's going to take another 2-out base hit or an error or something to keep this inning going from Shelley Duncan.
Offensively, it's a team that has done it the hard way all season long, so why not? Duncan tonight has singled, struck out, and walked. Pavano will go back to the windup. And it's outside ball 1. Pavano just gone over 100 pitches. There's activity in the Minnesota bullpen.
No, this is his guy. I mean, he's either going to end it here one way or the other.
2 balls, no strikes. So Shelley Duncan has the count tilted in his favor. And the 2-0 took a big rip and fouls it back.
Well, you know what you're going to get. He gets it and fouls it off. You work to get in that count. He just fouled it off. Had a pitch to hit.
With the bases loaded and 2 down, tried down a run in the bottom of the 7th. Duncan again shoots it right back over the screen. Now the count back to even at 2-2. Pavano deals, and he struck him out. The Indians leave him loaded, and we go to the 8th. 3-2 Minnesota.
Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
We move to the 8th inning. Alexi Casilla, Joe Mauer, Delman Young for Minnesota. Excuse me, not Alexi Casilla. Trevor Plouffe, who came on for Casilla when he injured his ankle earlier in the ballgame.
Don't feel bad. I did the same thing. I marked him defensively, but not offensively.
Lou Marson has taken over behind the plate with Chris Jimenez out of the game when they pinch hit for him. 2-1, driven pretty well. Deep right field. Back is Chu, looking up, and she is gone. Trevor Plouffe gives Minnesota a 2-run cushion. It's now a 4-2 ball game.
Boy, he stayed on that ball and hit a long way. Oppo.
And that is his first big league home run.
Well, he earned it, I'll tell you that. Even though that pitch was up, he stayed on it and went to right central. And that fooled Chu, and he ran out of room. You can see the fans catch it in midair. And they threw it back.
So isn't that something? You've got Casilla who in the game who had 4 hits in the first game and the first 2 at-bats of this series. And Mauer tees off on a ball. Short hops the fence. And he's got a double. And the Twins starting to tee off on Fausto here in the 8th. Carmona just over 100 pitches. This was number 101 on the night.
There's that swing of Mauer. Short hops the wall. He has 3 hits tonight. Out of the Twins' 9 hits, 5 have come for extra bases. They've hit 3 doubles and 2 homers. Both the homers being solo shots.
Delman Young, meanwhile, 0 for 3 and just 1 for 8 in the series. Another fly ball to right field. Chu's going to track this one down. Mauer will tag and go to third. And that's out number 1. Let's go back to the studios once again for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
All right, Matt, key game of the National League tonight. Braves and Giants. Atlanta with 3 runs in the 4th. Troy Glass, a 2 RBI single here, gets a couple of them home. It's still 3-0 Atlanta. 8th inning now in Georgia. Back to you.
We've got a pitching change here in Cleveland as Manny Acta will make the move to the bullpen. Fausto Carmona's night over after 7 1/3 innings of work. Tribe on the short end, 4-2. Tony Sips coming on when we come back. Minnesota batting here in the 8th inning. Fausto Carmona out of the ball game, and this pitching change brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Left-hander Tony Sipp on for the 47th time this year. First time Carmona has allowed 2 home runs in a game this year.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't give up many, and especially fly balls, too, but he's settled down.
But this is a game really that you have to look back and really hang this one to this point. Hey, it's not over yet, but so far this is a game where the Indians' offense has let too many opportunities slip by. Jason Kubel homered his first time up. Hit into a double play his last time up. Made a terrific defensive play early in the game, and since then has bobbled a couple.
Well, they're trying to keep it right where it's at, so Sipp may be on just for this hitter. Infield's coming in, trying to cut off the run at home plate.
And the left-hander's 2-0. Kubel able to lay off again. 3 balls, no strikes.
Well, that's the key. When you go out there and, you know, Tony's basically that fastball establishes everything else. He just threw him a 2-0 slider there. You got to throw it for a strike if you're going to throw it.
Popped him up out of play. Kubel's wailing away 3-0.
Well, why not? They've got a 2-run lead. That's a free swing, man. They're looking for that fastball, and he's looking to hit something in the air. You're certainly going to let your power hitter swing 3-0 there with the green light. They let a lot of people swing 3-0 now.
And that's ball 4. So first and third with 1 out for Michael Kadire. Manny Acta looks like he's going to stick with Sipp here to face the right-handed hitting Kadire, who is 2 for 3 with a single, a double, and a run scored. And Kadire promptly singles to center field. Coming home is Joe Mauer. 2 runs in the inning for Minnesota. And they now lead it 5-2. Kadire with his 50th run batted in on the year. He's got a 3-hit night.
Well, he throws him a good fastball down and away off the end of the bat, and he finds a way to get it in there. But that run will belong to Carmona, won't it?
Yep.
That goes to Fausto, so he gives up 5.
Now Danny Valencia 0 for 3. A strike called to the inside corner. And the count evens at 1-1 for Valencia, who has popped up on the infield twice and grounded out to third tonight. There's a line drive down the left field line, fair ball. This will make its way down into the corner. Kubel scores. Kadire stops at third. An RBI double for Danny Valencia. And back-to-back hits for Minnesota here in the 8th, and Tony Sipp has not retired a batter since coming on.
There's a spinner up there. He hangs. Valencia takes advantage of it, hits it down the line in the corner, so it's now 2nd and 3rd. After he drives in his 14th run, it's 6-2 game now.
Indians bring the infield in.
Going to intentionally walk.
Yes, they are.
Hardy. And then probably go to the bullpen, and that'll be it for Sipp. He may not retire a hitter.
Drew Butera will be the 8th man to bat in the inning for Minnesota, when they load him up with only 1 out. So there is ball 4. Hardy takes the walk. Butera will be the batter. Maniac has made no sign of making a move, and he's going to stay with Sipp. Butera 0 for 3. He has grounded out twice and struck out. Twins lead it now by 4, and a chance to remove all doubt. And it's low, ball 1.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Tony had it tonight right from his first hitter coming in with the left-hander. Hasn't been able to spot that heater, and that heater's his pitch. Everything revolves off of that, and his breaking ball's been up.
That's not going to get it done.
No,
14
not a good
pitches, only 4 strikes.
Yeah,
well, of course, 4 were on the intentional walk, but still. The 1-0. Missed again. And Drew Butera starting to narrow his field of focus here. Pops it up. Shallow right. Chu coming in. Tagging at third is Kadire. He's not going to try it. 2 down. And the 9th man to bat in the inning will be Denard Span. Gives us a moment to remind you that tomorrow night on STO, Bruce Drennan will be here for a primetime edition of All Bets Are Off at 7 o'clock. And then at 9, golf pro Jimmy Hanlon gets you up to date on the PGA Tour while taking your calls and emails. All Bets Are Off and the Golf Zone with Jimmy Hanlon tomorrow night starting at 7 right here on STO. Of course, Jimmy will be wrapping up the events down at Firestone.
Yes.
Pretty entertaining finish, I would imagine.
No, they've just had perfect weather for that tournament this year, haven't they?
Yeah.
It was. I was watching a little today. It was beautiful. That course looks great on television.
Also surprising how poorly Tiger Woods has played. I mean, 3 straight rounds.
Well, after winning 7 times there, you're right. Shot the highest round of his life there. 75 today.
Well, Jimmy will break it all down for you tomorrow night on the Golf Zone right here on STO. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Span. Nothing in 2 the count. White Sox and Orioles tied at 2 in Baltimore. They're in the 8th inning. Angels pummeling the Tigers 9-1 in Detroit. Bases loaded, 2 down, 0-2 pitch. A little bit inside. Denard Span, 1 hit and 9 at bats so far in the series, but he's got them loaded with 2 down here in the 8th. Fouled back. The Yankees beat Boston today 5-2, and Tampa Bay was thrashed by Toronto. So the Rays have fallen a game and a half in back of New York in the East, and the Red Sox fall 6 games off the pace now. The 1-2 pitch. Broken bat back to the mound. Sip the flip, and the inning is over. But the Twins bat around, score 3, and now lead it 6-2. Well, the Indians are down 6-2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. And new pitcher Jesse Crain on in relief of Carl Pavano, who went 7, allowing 2 runs on 7 hits. Jordan Brown, Matt Laporta, Luis Valbuena due up for the Tribe. Jordan Brown has had a good night, going 2 for 3. An RBI double, a run scored. Also singled his last time up. A strike is called. One on one the count here on Jordan Brown, who promptly singles to right field, his 3rd hit of the night. Maybe starting to get his feet under him now.
Exactly.
Hey, the Fest is Northeast Ohio's premier free Christian family festival. The 10th anniversary of this day-long event takes place tomorrow at the Center for Pastoral Leadership in Wickliffe starting at noon. Live music, raffle drawings. There are rock walls, affordable family food. Check out Tony Stewart's number 14 Old Spice Chevrolet, and fireworks at 10 o'clock. For all the information, log on to thefest.us. Matt Laporta, 1 out of 3, drove in a run back in the 4th inning. Fouls it back 0-2. Same two teams wrap up the series tomorrow at 1 o'clock here at Progressive Field. We'll have it for you tomorrow on Channel 3. David Huff against Brian Dunsing. Oh, 2 count on Matt Laporta. He fouls it right back. White Sox have gone ahead of Baltimore 3-2 in the 8th inning at Camden Yards.
Trying to stop that 4-game winning streak of the Orioles. They will visit here on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Their first trip to Cleveland this year.
Well, Laporta keeps fighting them off. Two-strike pitch. Routine ground ball to short. Hardy goes to Plouffe on to first, a double play.
Well, it's time for Mezzanine Madness. Pay $50 or more at any Indians team shop or merchandise concession stand and receive a voucher good for 2 mezzanine tickets to any Indians game the rest of the season.
Luis Valbuena, 1 out of 3 tonight with a base hit. Lays off that ball in the dirt. Valbuena pops it foul. That's going to find the seats beyond the Tribe dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 down. And a base is empty here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Minnesota jumped on top with a run in the 2nd and then 1 more in the 3rd. Tribe rallied with 2 in the 4th to tie it. It stayed that way until the 7th. And Minnesota pushed the go-ahead run across on an RBI single by J.J. Hardy in the air center field. And then Minnesota poked a hole in this one with a 3-run 8th inning. We go to the 9th. Minnesota on top 6-2. 6-2 Minnesota as we go to the ninth inning, and Hector Ambrose on now to work tonight for Cleveland.
Ambrose appearing for the 26th time this year.
Twins batted around in the eighth inning. Trevor Plouffe led it off with a home run, the first of his major league career. They would go on to plate two more in the inning. Spoiling some of the fun we've had tonight with the Hall of Fame induction of Kenny Lofton.
It's the fourth game that Hector has appeared against the Twins this year. He's pitched in 3 innings, giving up 7 hits and a couple of runs.
Big chopper to short. Cabrera charges in. Throws him out, 1 down. Hey, back to the studios once again. Al has the latest from Baltimore on the White Sox and O's.
Well, Matt, the White Sox have come all the way back from a 2-0 deficit to take the lead here. Alex Rios, a base hit in the top of the 8th inning, makes it 3-2 Chicago. They're now in the bottom of the 8th, but the White Sox are on top. Back to you, Matt.
And how about the Angels? They are pummeling Detroit 10-1 at Comerica Park, as the Tigers are headed for their 4th straight loss.
Well, those Tigers you were talking about, Matt, just 5-18. We're going to go 5-19 after the break.
Yeah, it's amazing, Rick. It's almost like somebody just pulled a plug and the ship is sinking fast.
Well, and then the injuries hit, and they had 3 guys go down in no time at all.
The 1-1 pitch. 2 balls and a strike. Down low, 3 balls and a strike. Mauer, a 3-hit night. He's hit in 3 straight at bats. And the Angels are doing that tonight without Torrey Hunter.
That's right. He was suspended, what, 4 games?
4 games. Strike is called, full count. Ron Culpa was the umpire who ejected Torrey Hunter from the game last night. It's the 3rd time that Culpa has ejected Hunter in his career, and I think Hunter might have inadvertently, with his helmet, made contact with Culpa.
Yeah.
And I think that's what probably got him the 4 games.
Well,
you can't make contact, inadvertent or not. That's just a no-no. And a 4-hit night for Joe Mauer. 4 straight ABs with a knock. So he's back to being Joe Mauer.
We've seen him do it before. Well, this short strength, 3 singles, a double. You know, you may not hit for power, but you could hit 320. Maybe higher than that now. Yep, 322.
Dude, we went fishing together in Cabo.
I'm not even allowed in Mexico.
It never gets old, does it? Delman Young, 0 for 4 tonight. One ball, 1 strike. There's a liner towards center. Brantley coming in. He'll make the grab. 2 away. Delman Young 0 for 5. It will bring up Jason Kubel. He has homered. He's been hit by a pitch. He's hit into a double play, and he has also walked. Oakland beat Texas tonight 6-2. The A's are a game over 500 and 8.5 games off the pace in the AL West, but they reside in second place.
Yeah, that's right.
Just ahead of those Angels.
That's a long way behind, isn't it?
Yeah, Texas had their 3-game streak snapped. Cliff Lee, I mean, last night, he's almost become machine-like the way he's going through teams right now.
You expect him to go out there. You expect him to pitch 8, 7, 8, at least, 7. Goes 8 and 9, and you expect him to be 100 pitches or less, and it's just strike after strike after strike.
The 1-1. A little bit outside. Over in the National League, Atlanta started the night with a 1-game lead over Philly in the East. And Atlanta beat San Francisco 3-0. Philadelphia, meanwhile, was in a duel tonight. There's a ball crushed. Deep left center. Brantley with his back to the dish won't catch up to this. And one hops to big wall. Coming around third is Joe Mauer. He scores standing. And it's a 7-2 Minnesota lead as Kubel has his second hit of the night, his second run batted in. And the Twins have scored 5 times in the last 3 innings of this game.
He went down and he smoked that ball into left center field. This young man's got some power. So he's had a home run, a double. He scored a pair and driven in a pair.
Michael Kadire takes a strike. Johan Santana is trying to shut out the Phillies tonight. Mets are on top 1-0 in the 9th inning. Philadelphia started the night a game in back of Atlanta, in danger of falling 2 games off the pace. And their 5-game win streak in jeopardy as well. San Diego is being blanked by Arizona in the 5th inning. San Diego started the day with a 1-game lead over the Giants in the NL West. Kadire shoots it back foul. Cincinnati and St. Louis.
That is going to be a dogfight, I would think, throughout the rest of this year.
Yeah, they're still duking it out. Well, St. Louis and Florida, they're tied. They're in extra innings. Down in South Florida, 4-4. They're in the 10th. Cardinals were a half game out of first when the day began. The 1-2 is in the dirt to even the count at 2-2. Problem is they don't have many games left with each other, do they?
I think 6. I think they have 6. They played them. I think they each have a turn to go to each other ballpark.
Cincinnati won earlier today, by the way, beating the Cubs 4-3. Chu grabs it in right field, and the inning is over. So we'll go to the bottom of the 9th here at Progressive Field. It's now 7-2 Minnesota. As we go to the bottom of the ninth here at Progressive Field. John Roush will come on now for Minnesota.
Roush pitched an inning in last night's game, gave up a hit, had a strikeout. Coming on to close this one out.
Jason Nix. He's got a 1-for-3 night. Lou Marson waits on deck. Then it's Michael Brantley. Swung on and missed. In the dirt. One ball and 2 strikes. Ground ball towards third. Backhanded by Valencia. And the throw over to get him, 1 down. Stick around after the ballgame for the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care post-game show. We'll have the highlights and get you set up for the series finale, which comes your way tomorrow at 1 o'clock on Channel 3. Conrad's post-game show, straight ahead. Lou Marson. He came on after Trevor Crowe pinch hit in the 7th inning. And a bouncing ball up the gut. Spinning throw by Hardy off the glove. And Marson is safe at first. And a base hit for Lou Marson. Well, he wasn't sure if it was going to make it through, and when it hit the mound, it allowed Hardy to get to it, but
he had really, he did everything in his power to get rid of it. And that ball slowed down after it hit the mound, and as he turns to throw, Marson got there. And they went up to tag Marson like he was going to second, but he certainly did not.
And Michael Brantley, 0-for-3, will be the batter. And a strike is called. Grounded foul, wide of first, and the count is 0-2. Marson, the runner at first, with 1 out here in the 9th. Indians down 7-2. Popped foul, back out of play. And the 2-strike pitch is in the dirt. I thought it was interesting after the ball game last night, Manny Acta's comments where he said that was a typical young team victory. They made a lot of mistakes where they had chances to score early. Right. And they let the game get away from them in the 9th. And then they came back and won it like nothing ever happened.
I mean, when you play like that, you have a chance to do it at home. It's really hard to do on the road. They had a chance really to open that game up early on Liriano. Didn't do it. And they, the Twins are a good veteran team, man. You let them hang around a ball game, and they believe that they got a chance to win it. I mean, this is a good ball game to the 7th inning, and the young hitters of the Indians couldn't put it up and add on or come and tie the game up, and then the Twins just said, okay, see you later.
But then I think what he was also referring to is where maybe a veteran team, when something like, a rally in the ninth inning goes against you, maybe the heads start to drop like, oh, no, we've let one get away. Whereas he said this young team, they just acted like nothing happened, came right back, boom. One swing of the bat, you end up with a win. Swing and a miss. Brantley strikes out, 2 down. And that will bring up Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera is 0 for 3 tonight with a walk.
Asdrubal had an opportunity in that 7th inning to drive home a run. Jumped on that first pitch from Pavano and grounded out the first.
Yeah, all those little things you look back on now in a game like this. Two balls and a strike with 2 down here in the 9th inning. It's 3-1. Shin-Soo Choo would be next. And a strike is called to run the count full. The runner at first, Lou Larson, will take off on a 3-2 pitch to Cabrera. And the payoff pitch is fouled off the leg of Asdrubal.
Oh, boy. Does he have a pad on there?
He does. Sounded like
you can hear it. Yeah. It sure did. That's why it's there. I mean, I thought it fouled off the catcher's shin guard. It fouled off his own shin guard. He has that on. I couldn't tell with the blue socks, but there you see it. Let's take a look at it first. Oh, boy, right on the top of it. Now take a listen. Ouch.
Yep.
Could you imagine if he didn't have that on? I mean, it still hurts, but, I mean, if that wasn't there to protect it.
If he didn't have that thing on, it might have been a Jermaine Dye deal where he fractured his leg.
Yeah, remember that.
Because that was a direct hit right there. Once again, Marson takes off. The 3-2 is ball 4. And so now with 2 on and 2 out, Shin-Soo Choo will be the batter. Choo is 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. He was intentionally walked back in the 7th inning. John Roush delivers, and it's fouled. Oh, my, into the Indians' dugout.
Did that get somebody?
It went over the top of the railing and into the dugout. I don't think it hit anybody, but it might have been close to catching somebody on the back bench.
Boy, you had better be heads up at any point in time.
Choo with a high pop foul. It landed in the club seat section and bounced all the way up into a suite.
Oh, boy.
So with 2 on and 2 out, an 0-2 count for Shin-Soo Choo. John Roush, his 24th pitch of the inning. And a breaking ball is hit to right field. Back goes Kubel, and the game is over. Minnesota wins it tonight by a final score of 7-2. Winning pitcher is Carl Pavano. He is now 14-7. Losing pitcher Fausto Carmona drops to 11-9. With the win, Minnesota is now 62-49. They've won 11 of their last 14, and the Indians dropped to 47-64. Time now for our play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank.